And is there anything you hope viewers to get from the series?
So we're making this series, and we hope people will go and see it and enjoy it by getting something out of it, something tangibly good out of it. What could that possibly be? It could possibly be that there is a broader realization of the sameness of our faiths and our beliefs and our lives, more sameness than there is difference.
But for her latest project, Belief, she's exploring how we are all connected by our ongoing search for something greater than ourselves.
And why do even non-believers find a prayer on their lips from time to time? I want to understand this instinct, which unites us all.
And somewhere in the spiritual base, we all align, because all of the religions have this in common: compassion, kindness, and love. And you see that. You know, I think the whole point of the series is to show that there's a big, wide, open space that is the space of all of our hearts if we're willing to let ourselves go there.
Historic sites in the Syrian city of Palmyra suffered greatly at the hands of ISIL. Since its recapture last month, people have been considering how to restore the UNESCO World Heritage Site. CCTV's Dan Whitehead reports from northern Italy, where artisans are working on a recreation of the triumphal arch from the Temple of Bel.
And we have to stop for a moment and ask the question, why in the world would we honor such a gruesome practice?
Nestled in Italy's Carrara Mountains, historic ruins are coming back to life. 3D printers carve into Egyptian stone to recreate the 2,000-year-old triumphal arch, nearly destroyed by Islamic State in the Syrian city of Palmyra. Thousands of images of the ruins have been used to create 3D mapping. Later this month, the arch will go on display in London's Trafalgar Square and New York's Times Square. The aim then is for it to travel to Syria itself.
So there's an amazing event going on this weekend here in D.C., praying for the healing of our nation. And the event takes place at the Lincoln Memorial on April 9th.
People in the nation's capital were treated Monday evening to the rare sight as the sky opened up.
A mystery is unfolding in Shasta County. Hundreds of birds are found dead along Interstate 5. A wildlife biologist says this is highly unusual.
It's very odd.
Jim Wigan is perplexed.
I've studied wildlife my whole life. Never seen this. Never seen this.
The wildlife biologist is trying to unlock a mystery. That mystery lies in the form of dozens of dead birds, all gathered within a 200-yard radius in the northbound lanes of I-5, on the side of the road and in the grass just south of the Mountain Gate exit in Shasta County.
The majority of them are right in this area.
Only one or two across the center divide.
On the other side of the road, there's almost nothing. That's another unusual thing.
Wigan drives this stretch of road all the time. A graduate of UC Berkeley, he's written numerous stories about birds.
I don't see any signs of trauma, disease. They're all in one tight location.
As he picks up carcasses he plans to have examined, he wonders what could have done this.
They were all hit by a semi and a big group was crossing the road. These guys look in perfect condition. Where's the busted up, smashed bodies? Where are the cripples around over here? Birds with broken wings can travel for miles.
Many articles have been written about the phenomenon, just like this one, all over the country. Starlings are considered a pest. They have been poisoned in the past. Wiegand doesn't believe that's what happened here.
These guys would be scattered all over the place. They wouldn't all be right here. If these guys were shot with a gun, they would be going in all different directions.
Nor does he believe they were sick.
If it was an avian disease, why would all the bodies be in one place? When birds are sick, it takes them a long time to die. This is a sudden event.
Whatever happened is a mystery.
Bruce Springsteen and his E Street Band have canceled their concert scheduled for tomorrow in Greensboro, North Carolina, to protest the state's new law blocking anti-discrimination measures for gay, lesbian, and transgender people. Springsteen said the law overturns progress in recognizing the human rights of all people.
The boss bowing out. Just days before a big concert in North Carolina, Bruce Springsteen's surprise move is a protest against the state's so-called bathroom law.
Yeah, critics say this law discriminates against gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender people. And Springsteen is not the only big name speaking out.
And that means thousands of Carolina fans won't get to see the 66-year-old legend.
Wanna change my clothes, my hair, my face. The boss taking a stand against a controversial new law in North Carolina, canceling his show in Greensboro only 48 hours before taking the stage. The bill, HB2, or the bathroom law, has come under heavy fire from critics in recent days. In it, individuals are required to use bathrooms that correspond to the gender on their birth certificate. The boss joins the ranks of companies like Apple, Google, Yahoo, and PayPal that have pushed back against the new legislation calling for its repeal. Even Charles Barkley voicing his distaste of this new law.
I think the NBA should move the All-Star game from there next year.
And other celebrities praising the boss for canceling his show. Melissa McCarthy tweeting, "One more incredible reason to love Bruce Springsteen. Your integrity is inspiring."
That's not going to hurt enough. You need to hurt them economically. It's the only thing they understand. Okay, you got to hurt people economically to have them do the right thing morally. That's the essence of a boycott. And it's a shame when it comes to that. But this sort of thing is spreading like an evil virus around the country. And we felt we better stop this. We're going to try and stop this right now. Early. And hopefully, other people will rise up and join us. And we're joining other people who have already begun this boycott. And, hopefully other states will either reverse the legislation. I believe Mississippi already has it also. And Georgia just stopped it because of a threatened boycott. That's the power of the people to do the right thing. And it's just these complete extremists, these religious extremists who are starting to really cross that line between separation of church and state. And that's one of our most honored and important traditions in this country. That's what makes us America. As far as I'm concerned, it's anti-American, to start being discriminating against people.
And I know you always have my back. And it's been just wonderful to work with you. I know when we finished season 2, I was literally crying because I just couldn't stand going through life without all you girls around.
You should always love yourself for who you are. The skin that you're in, whether you identify with it and are afraid to tell people, just go for it.
Tonight, I'm here to honor someone who, through her words and through her actions, proves that she is a force of nature. She tells the world that no one can judge us and no one can stop us. She is a woman of many talents. She is my friend, Ruby Rose.
On 11 at 11, spreading the good word on the job, has an Indiana State trooper out of work tonight.
That's right. ISP has fired senior trooper Brian Hamilton.
If somebody pulled me over and asked me about anything, I don't believe I'd want to sue them over something like that.
Former ISP trooper Brian Hamilton is a popular man in Connorsville, where he's often found preaching out in public.
Everybody has the right to talk to people. He did not try to force himself on anyone. He asked a question.
A question that ultimately got him fired. State police announced Hamilton's termination on Thursday in the wake of a second complaint. He was offering prayer while in state police uniform.
You get one officer that is trying to do something good and stand out and everything like that, and then he loses his job.
Today I spoke with more than a half dozen people in Connorsville who say losing your job is too big a price to pay for spreading a little prayer.
I wish other officers would do that. Maybe it might touch my kids' heart that they'll get in church and give their heart to God.
But is that the role of a police officer or a state police trooper to preach?
Role of anybody.
Spending cash may be going out of style.
Tonight, it'll make you ask, am I being watched? And we guarantee you'll be checking out your own neighborhood after you get the full story on this one.
But a man who lives in the house behind us says that he thinks there was a different kind of surveillance going on with some sort of mystery box attached to that power pole. SRP tells us that it looks like the box was from law enforcement, but they wouldn't elaborate. Brian says Phoenix PD told him that it wasn't from them.
Parents who try to walk their children out of school face possibility of criminal charges. If you think I'm exaggerating, I am not.
She's starting to arrest people.
Wendy Jarman is a private school teacher who just pulled her kids out of public school, Bear Branch Elementary in Magnolia ISD. She lives in the neighborhood behind the school. Her kids were walkers and she used to escort them, but they can't do that anymore. The school's principal, Holly Ray, won't allow it. Ray has gotten Montgomery County constables to be her enforcers.
This has happened to many parents. They have been cited. They have been threatened if they step 1 foot on school property that they will be arrested and charged with who knows what.
In the past 10 minutes, the first Syrian refugees to settle in the United States arrived in Kansas City.
Well, the controversial new plan includes bringing 10,000 Syrians escaping civil war to America. But critics say this puts our national security at risk.
We need to be clear about the origin of the war on terror.
Belgian police have raided the infamous Molenbeek district in Brussels, known as a hotbed of Islamic extremism.
Molenbeek was linked to the Brussels Jewish Museum shooting, this summer's attack on a French train, the Charlie Hebdo shootings, and recent terror in Paris.
Why is it such a hotbed for recruitment? A hotbed for radicalism and jihadism and extremism?
The war on terror is, I quote, orchestrated from abroad. These are the words François Hollande used to describe this terrorist attack. Well, the attacks that have been continuing to destroy Syria, to massacre its population, have also been orchestrated from abroad. And people in Europe need to understand that there is a war that is becoming global, that is being waged against civilian populations in particular. It is a form of neo-imperialism and neo-colonialism which aims to divide and conquer European and Middle Eastern and African and the world's population for that matter, and to make them submit to a global order that does not serve the interests of most of the people on this planet, but that does serve the interests of a very few ruling elite, a very small, tiny, and particularly tyrannical ruling elite. There is no war on terror.